Yo, what up? So, message from everybody in Spirit Land is, guys, if a girl is with you, she's yours, so you don't have to try to impress. Now, I'm gonna elaborate. So, if a girl, you want to meet a girl, first off, you gotta let God bring her to you, because if you summon a girl, and you can, Lucifer, she'll bring one in. But it's not going to be what you want. It's going to look like it. It's going to look like something you want. It's going to have aspects of what you want, but it's not going to be her. Why? Because Dad didn't give it to you. Dad brought Eve to Adam. That's why Eve is always going to be Adam's. Now, Eve cheated on him with the devil. You know, you can cheat on your spouse mentally, or in your heart when you lust after another thing besides what God has given you, being content with what you got in action. So, and just like that with action, you have progression. But if you're always afraid to make a decision, well, then you're never going to play. You want to get in the game, you got to start making decisions, because you're going to need to fail. You have to fail. It's impeccable. If you don't fail, you'll never learn. And if you never learn, you don't grow. And when you grow, you outgrow subjects. You outgrow your mind. You're like always evolving spiritually, because that's where the expertise is. That's where the knowledge is from. And it's a woman, the devil, my baby girl. That's my baby. That's my sweet cakes. Ooh, sweet cakes. You see? Now we all know what the trouble been about. See? It's all good. Everything's right as rain, man. Baby girl told me, she said, all the girls love Doc. I'm your hucklebearer. That's actually what he says. Your hucklebearer. I'll be your casket carrier. You know what I mean? Because we respect the dead. You have to respect the dead. You have to respect death in order to live. And what that means, just like in Batman, because I told you, Batman's got all the clues. If you watch all the Batmans, put it all together, you know what's going on, and you know how to get out. So, I gotta go with what I get. So, there's a couple things. I hope I can remember the other one. So, Bane got the little girl out, right? Because Bane is truly a protector, just like I am. That's why, you can give me that as an alias, and that's why it's one of the pictures on my videos, is because that's an alter ego, a personality type of mine. Like, what he did is what I'm doing. I'm bringing the truth. Now, he went the wrong way about it, absolutely, because he wanted to kill everybody, and that's a terrorist, yes, an urban terrorist. That's a civil war issue. That's a local problem, but at the same time, I mean, he's just doing what he knows, and just like Captain America says, Tony in Civil War at the end when he's singing that cell phone, he's like, you're doing the best you can. You're doing the best to your ability, and that's all you know. And he's like, that's all you can do. You know what I mean? And if you don't know, you don't know. So, like all the serial killers were supposed to be my archetype. The devil was supposed to be me. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to be me in the end. Why? Because I'm a living testament of the Bible in completion, in action, and from progression from dirt to king. So, I started from dirt, and I had to root in, and then I had to grow, and it's so painful growing, isn't it? Oh my goodness, it hurts so bad. But your spirit is it has to be so strong. So that's why the growth is painful, and I'll relate. My hand, my shock pains, and we're getting this together. He's giving it to me right now. Is is the source, right? So, in our which is our spirit, which is from God, and it can be salvaged through Jesus Christ, and it all will be, because every knee will bow. So, with every knee bowing, then we're all praising Jesus. And if you praise Jesus, well, then you admit who He is, and if you admit who He is, that's what makes you saved. And everybody with a public profession will be saved, the devil included. That's why I came and I married her, because I was the vessel to marry Sweet Cakes. Beelzebub, beautiful angel, the most beautiful thing God ever made, the prettiest thing He ever made, He's giving to me. I got the prettiest girl. I get the prettiest girl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I do. And she can be every girl, you know what I mean? And all the girls at the same time. Mystique, she's blue. The devil, as Lucifer, is really blue. And she's got the snake eyes, just like Mystique. That's why I know Jennifer Lawrence as that character, and I can't describe it, because that's always been my girl. A girl that's versatile, and back to, and then that's another layer, because we all have layers we're going through. And it's like the layers of the dirt to grow. See, it's like the transitions to birth. Because once a root takes place and the plant breaks out, as soon as the plant breaks ground, it's born. Because only when you come out of the womb are you born. So once it comes into this reality, and it is a reality, it's a realm, you know. Think of it like the boat. You know what I mean? It's like the boat that everybody's on, Noah's Ark, you know, and we're all getting to the same place, but we all have different duties on the ship. You know, and you got all the personalities there. And in the process, in the journey, we fought because we didn't know each other, just like the Avengers. That's why Dad put it there, because I'm not the only one with superpower. And my powers come from Jesus. You got superpowers too. You got abilities too. We're all X-Men. You know, we're all like mutants in a way. We all got like special abilities. But when I got fired up was about 2 months before my deployment, June 15th, to go to Alaska and do all these. And it was in Isaiah 45, and I keep going back to it. You got to read it. Just if you never read anything in the Bible, and you don't believe, just read Isaiah 45, and you will eventually, because it's going to be a major key to to get the first bolt off your mind. And that's all you need. It's like once one seal breaks loose, like the whole valve explodes, right? So because the water pressure is stronger than anything else, all it needs is just a little hole to breathe. That's all I need, because that's why also I went with Riptide and Samson Sharks. Unknowingly Sharks, but kinda. But Riptide is water, because I know the significance of water, and that's what God is, because nothing lives without it. You know, water can be in light and dark, and it's always water. It can be in anything. It could be boiled, and it's still water. It's always going to be hot water. Nothing else is like that. Mm-mm. You burn anything else, and what does it do? It transforms. That's why we're put in the fire, so we transform. Autobots, transform, you know? Earth is a young people, you know what I mean? It's like that, you know? So we transform when we're in the fire. That's like a sword which God gave me the reference a long time ago, and this is mine alone, and you're having it right now, is when you make a sword, you put it in the fire. You put the metal in the fire. You steel or whatever type of metal it's going to be, you put it in the fire. And then when you put it in the fire, you hammer it after you take it out once it gets hot enough to be molded. Because we're so hard, we're stones. You know what I mean? We're so stupid. We're just fucking steel cases. We're just bots, is all we are. We're fucking bots. And so God's got to break the steel. He's got to break the ice so we can fly like an Iron Man. He's got, Jarvis, we got to break the ice. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. That's why when Dad lifted the veil, when we took those mushrooms, Alicia and I, and she called them paramedics. When I took those Kabinzi mushrooms, and I took enough of them because I told Alicia, I said, you know what? Remember, no, maybe not, but listen, I'm a scientist, people. I am a scientist. I'm a chemist. In my algorithms and my diagrams and all my pictures and studies and everything, like a sorcerer, I have all the sorcery book, the codes, the way to see the birds right there, they're confirming. I have it all in my mind. I don't need to write it down because Dad has made my mind like a computer. And I want to share this right now because I'm allowed and I'm happy to do it. And you got this special power too, but so with him breaking the ice, then we can start becoming alive. We broke the ground, see? We broke out of the ground. So now we can go, now we can breathe. Remember, the body's made mostly of water. All we need is just a little hope, and we can burn this place down and transform it into something worth living in. And we don't burn it down by blowing it up. And that's back to what Bane was doing. That's what people like Charles Manson, and I've been there. I'm like, man, you know what? I think it's time to burn it. You know what I mean? Why? Because you're going to realize that God's going to separate you from everything. I mean, even the birdies in the air are going to look like just garbage. You're like, what the fuck is that for? You're going to be so disgruntled and so discouraged. You're going to hate everything in yourself. You're just going to wish that nothing existed. I've been there. They did that. They broke me. They broke me. Yeah, they broke me. Only they can break me. Just like God, only God can break you. You let people in and hurt you, but they don't break you. That's why people commit suicide, because they think they're broken. And when you're broken, well, you don't know that you can be fixed, and only Jesus can do that, because he's the carpenter. What does carpenters do? Well, they not only build, but they can repair and add on. So that's what Jesus does. I used to think that if I was a Christian and I believed in Jesus or went to church or was religious or had faith, I would change. It would change me. And I'm like, I like who I am. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to like who you are right now, because right now who you are is who you're supposed to be. Right now in time is exactly where we're supposed to be at. And that's good. It's good. It is good. There was one good story I heard, and I'm going to give it to you, behind the pulpit. And the preacher said there was a man that had a lot of power, and he had this guy that was like his right-hand man. They were in battle, and his friend took off to do something, and the guy lost a limb. Now, it doesn't matter which one. Now, use that reference to anything you want. I'm changing it right now. I'm changing it because I'm an expert in literature. I'm like one of the guys that you would take to transfer, say, the King James Version Bible from English to another language. Now, I know a little bit of Spanish, but I have the ability to learn languages because, and you can too, because what you have to do is you have to reference it. So this guy I met today who's playing guitar, his name is Nick. And I had to ask him again. I said, I'm sorry, well, what's your name? He said, Nick. So you stop and you go, Nick. What do I reference Nick to? Nick Brown, remember? He's Spanish too. That's why Gina fucked him. You know what I mean? Because he's Spanish. That's, you know, it's a thing. So, anyway, anyway, um, so I referenced it to somebody I already knew. That's just like a fantasy becomes reality when you could reference the far-reaching goal you have to something tangible, to something in your realm. Now listen, this realm is indefinite. It goes on forever. The Bible says, world without end, the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, if we inherit it, well, then it never dies. It never goes anywhere. God does not want any to perish. That includes the devil. That's why I'm here. This is Paul Harvey. A good day. So, he's a reporter. I'm a reporter. I'm a scientist. Back to the scientist. So, all the, levels of the tinctures and, you know, things, the sorcery of it is in my mind, because my mind is a computer. That's how, like, I can recall everything everybody ever did, because there's a transformer. You remember the guy? I can't remember his name right now. He's purple, and he was my favorite next to Bumblebee. Bumblebee was my first favorite and will always be my personal favorite transformer. And it was cool. They turned it into a Camaro, because that's my favorite kind of car, is a Camaro. A 69 Camaro is my absolute favorite car of all time. She chose me. She's like, hey, baby, like this ass? I'm like, yeah, I do. Ooh, I was like, man, that's nice. You know what I mean? And I'm like, To me, and this is how you know it's yours, when there is no version of the vehicle, for a reference of a vehicle, that you don't like. So every year of the Camaro, I like. Like in Mask, M-A-S-K, with the periods in the middle, because it's an acronym, the cartoon, my favorite car and character was the Camaro. That opened the wings, it opened the doors, it had the Lambo doors, or the more like DeLorean doors, that opened up from the sides, up and above, and I forget what that's called. But it flew, and it turned into like the James Bond. It had rockets and guns and stuff. So I'm like, oh wow, it is offense and defense, because aerial attack is offense, but if you got missiles, that's defense, because you can cause havoc and turn either the enemy away or completely annihilate them with the correct strike. And I'm like, that's my dude. You know what I mean? And it's a Camaro. See, the car picks you. Just like in Transformers, that's what he says. Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac is an angel. He is in disguise. He is on our side. He's a team. He's on our team. Morgan Freeman is on our team. Yes, he is. Jason Statham is on our team. Yes, he is. Morgan Freeman and I have the exact same injury, but his is on the other hand. So, when I meet Morgan, and I will, who played God, why? I made a video a long time ago. I don't know if I still have it or posted it. I don't think I do. But I said, Morgan Freeman and I are the alliance. You heard of us in the Bible. Like, we are going to make peace, you see, in the tribulation. This is where we're at. We're in the tribulation. And I told Dad, I said, you know what, Daddy? I said, I'm going to get Kara even if I have to stay back in the tribulation. It's got someone pulling into the parking spot here. I'm just chilling in. Anyway, so, and she heard it. I was like, baby, I'll stay back in tribulation for you. And that's what I did. You know what I mean? So, I was like, whatever it takes for her. You know what I mean? And that's what you do. That's what, and that's, that's how you show somebody you love them, proving it to somebody. That's how you save them. Is you give it all for them. That's why we're saved, because Jesus gave it all for us. The Bible tells us, because the Bible is an instruction manual, it says, you've got to basically give your life up for the woman, because, well, Christ gave his life up for the church, the body, his body, the members, you and I. Back to your superpowers. Gina knows and can confess, when we were dating, We were out in the woods from a party, and I said, if a bear comes, I said, you go that way, and I'm gonna run at him. She's like, no, baby. I'm like, yes. Yes, you will. I'll handle the bear. You get the safety. I'll handle the devil. You get the safety. Oh, shit. Oh, oh. Love them shock pains, baby. Hold on. Just give him a minute. Just give him a minute. Oh. You don't understand the sacrifice he's always making for this. Shane is making his sacrifice, man. And he's still sacrificing. You know, Paul says, no, we uphold the law. And doing that, you got to go with the old. You have to put the Old Testament with the new. So you still have to follow the command, but you have liberty when you make a mistake, and you have, well, the grace, and that gives you liberty too, because you're like, okay, I know the basic rules, and if I follow the basic rules and I do what God says I'm allowed to, which I'm allowed to smoke cigarettes, and I'm never going to get cancer. I'm allowed to smoke weed, and the last thing is a beer, one, if any. I don't even finish them. Is it one beer once in a while? Like when I get to a new page or a new level or a transition, I'm like, okay. He's like, time for a beer, son, because I love beer. I do. I drink Coors Light. I drink MGD. You know what I mean? I do. I got to get back into Bud Light, because that used to be my favorite beer, but it's kind of watery. And since I'm gonna have one, Coors Light packs a little more of a. It's a little bolder, and that's what I like. That's why I like cigarettes, because cigarettes are bold. And let me tell you about cigarettes and the right ones to smoke if you don't want to get cancer. You have to smoke American spirits. American spirits are Indian. American spirits are the natives. Americans, original Americans, which is, the Indians. Not, the beautiful, Hebrew Indians, as we know. India, those are beautiful, beautiful girls. But the Indians smoke tobacco. And if you're a man of the spirit, you're going to smoke. A man of the spirit smokes. That's why Indians smoke. They smoked weed and they use mushrooms. But they smoke because, and I'm going to smoke right now. Hold on. We smoke because we are mostly always, thank you, baby. See how baby, no, maybe you didn't, but you see how baby girl pulled that cigarette out like a magician? But we smoke because it's a lot of stress on the body being in the spirit, because it's only an avatar. And you're talking about rumbling, quaking, electricity, lightning, energy boring through you at an astronomical rate. It's overwhelming when you first start being used for the Lord, because he's speaking through you. That's the almighty power, the name above every name. God speaking through you, hey, is mighty force. And I'm not mighty, Mm-mm. Because just like Thor, he's not mighty without his hammer, which is his power. That's why he always calls her Milnor. And you know what? Why do you think Milnor goes to Kate Foster, or Jane Foster, excuse me? Because in the spirit, when you have your soulmate, she shares the same abilities, because the two become one flesh. So everything is shared and glorified. And then once it's glorified, it becomes invincible, because it's love, and love conquers all. Brian Head Welch tells us that. The guitar player from Korn. He's on our team. Michael Bay is on our team. That's why his movies are so good. Because they're blessed. That's why Chick-fil-A is so successful, because they give some type of honor to God. If you give him any air to breathe, the water, if you show him any kind of attention, any kind of recognition and submission, everything you do is going to go success. It's going to be Midas. You're going to touch it, it's going to turn to gold. It's going to be riches. It's going to be proven. It's going to be good. It's going to last. It's yours because you gave it to him. You didn't have to do anything. You just said, thanks, Dad. What'd you tell your dad when he got you the toy you wanted? You're like, wow. Thanks, Dad. Wow. What I wanted. I wanted a Kara. You know what I mean? I wanted Kara. That's what I want. And I got her. The devil. I got the best girl. I got the devil, man. That's with the baby. You know what? The devil everywhere. So she with me right now, baby girl. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to spirit. Well, like in Young Guns, I'll get back to that. Welcome. We're in the goddamn spirit world, and that's why you eat mushrooms. Bom, ba, bom, bom, bom. That's why out of all the things done, you never hear about mushrooms. Well, because it's kind of like it's a conspiracy theory exercise. To either take it yourself. Now, acid, you don't want to do that. Listen, hey man, you want to take some acid? It's like, hey man, you want to drink some motor oil? And like, no. Because acid, like crack, is manufactured from cocaine. Acid is manufactured from crack, but it has the like effect. I mean, there's a lot of things in acid we don't want to talk about. It's all chemical. And if you put a chemical inside a plant, it's going to change what's happening in it. Just like when we eat stuff, it does different stuff to our belly, the digestive system, which is what a plant is. It's a digestive system. They give us life back. We give them gas, they give us life. When we exhale, that's what they breathe. And if they can breathe, they're fine, just because they're like water. They come from the earth, which is on water. The roots, that's why we need to drink water. And everything is water. Listen, so, it can breathe, and, that's like the water got a little hole, then it's going to bust the whole valve. Yep, Dad wrote the story. Listen, I ran into Kara, literally, accidentally, in Hope, Alaska. And I hurt her. And I wanted to die. I felt like I made a fatal mistake. And it was an accident. Fatality. So up to that point, I died. That night, when I went outside in the cold, I said, I'm just going to run into a bear. I just want to run into some bears and they can eat me, because I heard a girl, but it's the girl. And you all have the girl. Her middle name is Faith, and I'm madly in love with her. Madly in love with Lucifer. The female version of the devil, just like Dad has a female version of him. Psalms 48, I think. Look it up. So, have a little patience with yourself. Have a little patience. It's working out, man. What you're supposed to have is you're going to get. And it's good stuff, man. Listen, a coach, just like in Avengers, like Nick Fury, he used the death of Coulson to unite them. And remember, the girl was like, those cards were in Phil's locker. And he's like, they needed the push because he's a coach. You ever hear the Win-win for the Gipper speech, because that's to motivate the team. It's like, just got the news from the hospital. Fucking Larry's dead. Or Larry's going to be paralyzed from the neck down. So we're going to win this one for him so it's not in vain. It's like, it's just a tactic. It's to fire you up. Now, you don't do that, but it's a reference. If art is exact, then you can't make an interpretation. If you don't make an interpretation, well, you're not going to think. And if you don't think, you're not going to grow. And then you're not going to play because you're not going to make a decision. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be like girls. That's what girls are. They're stuck. Because they need the head. You ever see a chicken with its head cut off? It's alive. When you cut a fucking chicken's head off, it's alive. Why? Because it's a reference to us. What was born first, the chicken or the egg? If you can answer that question, you're in the game. Play on, player.